What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Week 10 of the Cover 4 podcast. As always, I am joined by Cody, Nate, and Zach. We're coming off a week where we saw a little more consistency. Cody had a tough week. He went 4-11.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
We had the conflicting locks between Cody and Nate. The Bills-Dolphins game. We'll get to that in a little bit. Nate and Zach led the week at 9-6. Overall records here on the screen. As you can see, Nate is opening up a sizable lead here for this season. And he's also gaining on me in the all-time. He's only 3 games back. He can make that up within a week. So he might have a new all-time leaderboard leader. And then Zach and Cody
Sweet life.
are once again tied all-time at 210 and 194. So
that's
pretty
solid.
Crazy stuff
That's
there.
solid.
That's very solid.
All-time?
That's very solid. Week 9, interesting week. I wanted to open up with the Cowboys-Falcons game because obviously I've been on a bit of a lock spiral. I've lost 3 straight locks. And the Cowboys were my lock, and they didn't really compete, even when Dak was in the game. Obviously, the Dak injury. Cody, this obviously affects you a lot because as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I mean, the main headline has to be the interesting trade that Jerry decided to make this week when you have the whole offseason to make decisions for the future, and you decide to get a guy by the name of Jonathan Mingo. This is, I think, his 2nd or 3rd year in the league, and he just hasn't been great. He was the 4th player on the depth chart behind Jalen Coker, a guy undrafted out of I think it was Holy Cross. Do you guys know who that is? Coker. What are the fans? The Cokeheads. They're calling his fans Cokeheads. So
shout out Holy Cross though.
Yeah, he's out of Holy Cross. Mingo couldn't even beat him out for a position on the roster. So then Jerry decides to go and trade him for a 4th round pick. D-Hop, a great talent, went for a 5th round pick. So it's just weird. Like Devontae Adams goes for a 3rd.
Very fishy.
I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think it's a terrible move for Dallas and the team spiraling.
I mean, Dallas is probably the biggest disappointment this year. I mean,
it's all in the wrong direction.
And now their 2 stars getting paid millions and millions of dollars are hurt. So it's not looking good for Dallas, especially if you're a Cowboys fan.
CD had the AC joint sprain in the game. He's week to week, and Dak looks like he's on an IR stint, and they're saying it could be season ending because it was a partial tear of his hamstring. Yeah. So all this stuff, it's like a domino effect going on in Dallas. So.
And real quick, I just want to say, guys, we're trying out a little bit of a different format. Stay tuned to the end of the video. We're still going to have all our picks for you guys to see. We're still going to go through locks and all that. So stay tuned for the whole show. I wanted to move on because I thought the Dennis Allen news was I thought it was pretty obvious that it was coming. I said in the beginning of the year I thought he was going to be the first coach fired. Yeah. Obviously, it was Salah.
The sports books had him favored for Allen to be the first one to be fired.
It seemed like this was a long time coming with his continued track record of no success. I mean, just putting it what it is. He might be a fine coordinator.
Especially getting Derek Carr back. It's like.
Right, exactly. I just think there's I don't know. They started 2-0 and then they've uncompetitive.
I had high hopes for this team too. They hired Clint Kubiak in the offseason. They start out 2-0. They rout Dallas. I forgot who else they played when they started out. It was Panthers and Dallas. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a survivor pool pick. So they took them and they just blew out both those teams, and then all of a sudden it was just downhill right when Carr got hurt. So
yeah, they had a promising start to the season. And then just to lose 7 straight in that fashion, then Olave, he's been banged up too. Yeah. Concussions back to back.
His 5th concussion,
it's not
dating
good.
back to
honestly,
Ohio
there
State.
was an interesting news headline with Mike Thomas going at Derek Carr. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
he came at him.
Is it a good point? I don't know. I mean, we're not NFL receivers, but it's like leading your receiver into heavy traffic like that. It's an interesting.
It is a hospital ball. He obviously didn't mean it, of course, but it's a poor ball.
And Olave, actually, if you've watched his career, he gets destroyed.
It's his 5th one.
He's been getting hit like that since he's been in the league.
A report came out today that he's going to be seeing a specialist. Their new coach that is the interim head coach, I think his name is. They're calling him the Rizzler because his last name is Rizzi. It's Darren Rizzi.
Pop that up, the Rizzler. That's a
shout out to him. Everybody was saying it's. They had T-shirts on in the locker room, so it seems like it's a change of culture for the Saints. They are quite literally the worst team in the NFL right now. They've lost 7 straight games. You can't name a single team that's lost 7 straight.
You lose to the worst team, you deserve to get fired.
Yeah,
that's
definitely. So he got fired. Cameron Jordan tweeting after the game saying, "We're so sorry to the fans. We can't believe we just lost to the Panthers."
Cameron.
Just a quick shout out to my guy Xavier Legette. That was my fantasy player last week, and he scored a touchdown. He also got ripped of a pick. That's a pick. We were watching that.
What do you guys think of his celebration? Every time he scores, he rides the horse.
Dude, I love it, dude. He's southern. He's the best, bro. I love him. Awesome. I might have to cop a jersey. Shout out my guy Xavier Legette if you're watching this.
How does he? Hey, what did he say? Asparagus?
Yeah, asparagus.
I started eating asparagus. I eat string beans and green peas. That's not a surprise for some reason. Do they have to be cooked in bacon grease? No. That ain't like that.
He likes to eat asparagus. He's been eating that. He's been eating that way more.
I love him.
Yeah, the Saints, man.
We also talked about
parlay
that.
too.
Speaking of parlays, Zach hit a parlay this week at my expense with this. One of the legs was the Seahawks losing. Yeah. Obviously, if you tuned in last week, we had the dog treat bet. This is Zach's fault for not bringing it.
I want to make that
clear. I didn't dodge it. It was we're going to still do it. I will be eating dog food on the show.
That was interesting. I mean, I just want to talk to you about that a little bit. So Seahawks, I thought it was Seahawks all the way after they got the ball in OT. I mean, they kind of walked down the field. They went for on fourth down, kind of got stuffed. And then what was it, 4 plays from Stafford? There was a play, though. The first play of that drive, Tariq Woolen could have picked the ball off.
Yes, that was brutal. That was brutal.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
He didn't attack the ball.
I was watching that, and I was like, oh, CVA is going to be.
What do you guys think of the Puka Nacua ejection? Was that a little soft, do you think?
Yeah, that was soft.
That was like a low right hook. Like, it wasn't even hard.
Him too,
it was in the heat of a play.
I think you can punch him in the face and be like, yeah, you still don't need to eject him.
It was almost not even a punch, though. He did swing, but like it's in the heat of the moment. They're blocking. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't love that.
Was it like open-handed?
He kind of like hit him because like he got up. It was an interception.
Football.
Yeah, and like I think he got up and he got blocked and then he just got pissed and he like hit him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a hard hit or anything, but he did get ejected for the play. So
I will also say I think that's just probably the worst game of Gino's career in Seattle. Obviously he had some horrific games.
We should talk about JSN.
JSN.
If you like, obviously there was some penalties too. He was closing in on like 200 yards. If you gave him that penalty yards back,
he should have had 200 yards.
Easily.
A couple of balls, easy.
Gino threw for damn near 400 yards,
and it was still one of his worst because he had some of the worst
3 turnovers.
Interceptions. But like not just the fact that he had 3, like the way they were brutal.
Oh, in the red zone too.
Awful, and not even like competitive balls, like directly to the defender. Like it was, I was like ripping my hair.
You could
out.
see it in his face, like his reaction. He was like, "Holy did I just do this?"
Yeah, it was like Jets Gino.
Yeah,
like that was. I haven't seen that in Seattle like that level.
That was vintage Stafford at the end though.
And Gino still answered that he tied it up.
Yeah,
he had a great drive.
I thought it was all Seahawks.
And then overtime, they're driving down the field. It's looking great. I don't agree. I know hindsight is very easy to say this, and I know the Rams scored a touchdown the next drive, but I still think in that situation, knowing this team, I think you take the field goal as the Seahawks. And I just, especially the defense, again, not knowing what was going to happen next, the defense was playing better as that game went on. They were holding Stafford in a lot of ways, especially without Puka. So I'm not gonna like hold it against Mike McDonald for going for it there.
I kind of agree though. Put the pressure on them to like they gotta score. You know what I mean?
Right. Like just it's a different mindset going in down 3. Like down.
What yard line were they on? Were they like?
No, they were like. It would have been like a chip shot.
Yeah. It was. This was like red zone. Or brink of red zone.
Definitely a crazy game from DeMarcus Robinson too. As Puka went down, like this guy the past 2 weeks he has like I think 4 touchdowns. Back-to-back games.
He beat on the last route there. He beat.
That was Woolen.
That was a ridiculous catch.
He snagged it with one hand. Stafford makes a perfect throw. He looks great. He's like
Stafford continues to be one of the most underrated.
That's the wide receiver 3 on this team.
Yo, DeMarcus Robinson though, but when he's the only guy there, he doesn't do shit. But he's the 3 now, and now he's all butt naked fucking touchdowns every.
For all the best ballers out there, he was a guy going in the 15th, 16th round in fantasy drafts. He's just it's paying off so much. You know what I mean? So
I'm happy for my friend Zach for hitting the parlay. But obviously we're not going to talk too much. Seahawks aren't a buy this week.
We got to get onto this Dallas Cowboys team, like what we just witnessed last week. We got to talk about that.
I think the biggest disappointment of the week, I think, was the Cowboys. I mean, I made them my walk. I was pretty. I really felt good about it, but just
complete disaster.
Team is melting down. I don't. They play Philly this week now. Obviously, Dak's going to be out for whatever amount of time. I was the resident Cowboy fan. Like, where is this team going?
I just don't think it's going in the right direction. I know we briefly touched upon it with the Mingo trade. I just don't see. I don't see how that is possible. Like, you have guys like Amari Cooper.
What do you want the next move to be?
The next move is like I think the trade deadline already passed yesterday, so there's nothing we can really do. You just gotta.
I'm saying
this isn't a playoff team.
Into the offseason even.
Into the offseason. I mean, we need some help on the O line. Obviously, we need a running back. We have Ezekiel Elliott. He looks so bad.
He couldn't
even go to the game. He got suspended. Like he didn't travel with the team.
What was good?
He didn't go to meetings. I guess he was showing up late. And when you have Dalvin Cook and Rico Dowdle as the 1-2 punch, like you have a serious problem. You have Jerry Jones going on radio shows saying that like. He didn't have urgency to go out and get guys like Derrick Henry, you know what I mean? Like Saquon Barkley, another guy who you could have signed in the offseason.
Because they didn't go out and get their money on Dak.
These teams the Eagles go and make a move and see how good the Eagles are. Like a piece like that is very important to have a good football team. So I don't know what you guys think, but
just talking about like, coaching. Nick Sirianni this week.
Oh.
Oof. For the people that had Eagles -7.5, Zach and I think were on the Jaguars, or Cody.
I think I had
me
the
and Zach
Jaguars.
were on the Jags.
Oh, okay.
At +7.5, but they had no business covering that game. Like,
you can thank Nick Sirianni
how many
for all those
points
tickets.
they left on the board. It was insane. Imagine having the Eagles as like your last leg. I'd be sick. I don't know.
Brutal.
I mean, you have a 22-0 lead at halftime. You'd think you'd be able to make some good decisions as a coach. But what he decides to do is he decides to go for it on 4th and shorts when you could be taking field goals. Some weird play calls. They always do the Philly special on the 4th and inches, and they decide to do an end around.
Yeah.
It gets completely destroyed. Like, the play gets blown up.
I hate to interrupt you, but speaking of Philly special, shout out Bo Nix. I know they got routed. That was sick.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Sutton threw a
fire.
touchdown
That
to
was
Nix.
sick.
That was awesome.
That was sick.
T-Law, is like they score, they go for 2. There's a fumble touchdown the very next, like the first play of the Eagles' next drive. Then they score and go for 2 again. They get it, and it turns to a close game. And then
What about the end of that game? How do you, as an offensive coordinator, how do you call a play with your RB3 on the depth chart, Dearness Johnson, running a Madden wheel route on the last play of the game?
Jaguars.
You have 30 seconds left. You're down 5. How do you concoct a play like that when you have receivers? You just have to go and end around to RB3, Dearness Johnson. Completely horrible throw by T-Law, and it gets picked off, and the game's over.
Yeah.
Like, they could have stole a game from the Eagles.
I think that game.
Sirianni might be out the door if they steal
if the Eagles blow that game, Sirianni, we'd be having a different conversation.
I don't know if Lurie's the type of guy to fire him in that spot, but
Dennis
like,
Allen
he should
and
be
Sirianni.
fired. Like, I don't know. He's. And speaking of the last thing before we move into this week's games, Monday night, not as controversial. I think most people agreed with Todd Bowles' decision to kick the extra point, but Cody already before the show was kind of convincing me. When you're playing, if you didn't watch Monday Night Football, obviously the Bucs tied it late.
What a drive by Baker, by the way.
What a drive Baker played.
He's been doing that. He did that with the Rams last year. I don't know if anyone remembers against the Raiders.
Yes.
Crazy.
Absolute.
He's been doing that his whole career.
Hell of a game.
He's solid.
But I will say, against Mahomes, you brought up the point about like this is the one team where maybe you do go for 2 and just.
There's few
end
quarterbacks that
Yeah.
you would go for
Try
2
to end
against,
it.
in my opinion. Like, if I was a coach, like a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who if you put the ball in his hands in overtime, your
Right.
chances are
100%.
there against you.
Right.
Another guy like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, like these are guys that like you'd rather take the chance to win the game now than give them an opportunity.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
coaches.
Yeah.
nowadays,
Especially with the
should-
NFL rules, like I feel like in my opinion they should change. Like maybe each team should have the ball once,
like
but
the playoff, like the Super
yeah,
Bowl.
like the playoffs have good rules,
Right.
but like
I
regular
feel like
season,
it should be the same way.
Right?
I think it should be
Yeah.
the same way.
There should also
I
be no
don't know.
tie. They should also extend 10-minute overtime. Like we saw in the Patriots-Titans game, that one drive took it down to like
3 minutes left.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like, what are we doing? Like make it
Crazy.
at least 15, but like I just think there shouldn't be any ties.
That was
Yeah,
also a
that's it.
ridiculous play from Drake May.
Yeah.
Yes, that was one of the plays of the
Crazy
week.
play.
That was amazing. I was watching that live with my dad.
Lots
He,
of
like,
promise
freaked
for
out.
all you Patriots.
But yeah,
fans.
especially
Almost like
especially
that.
going back on Mahomes though, like he's almost like leading the league in picks probably.
Yeah.
He did have a good game.
The
Finally.
game he had yesterday, yeah. it helps
3
him
to
out.
Well, like to go
touchdowns.
on that
Yeah.
point, it's like he's still like they're undefeated. So it's like you gotta go for the.
It's
2.
credit to
You can't-
Spagnuolo.
Yeah, it's
You know
like
what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, I will say that Baker Mayfield with what he had around him for that game, and in the Arrowhead in that Chiefs defense,
I think
my
Sterling
respect for
Shepard.
that performance.
Sterling Shepard was his top target.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I was
that's all he
it's
had,
crazy.
yeah. No, Kate on and
Unless you consider-
Yeah, but McMillan, like guys like
Yeah,
this who are supposed to be
McMillan,
playing,
yeah.
McMillan,
Palmer.
Palmer didn't play, McMillan didn't play. He's using Sterling Shepard as like his
And
wide receiver one. He had Kate on.
There was another Miller.
Uh,
Not Scotty Miller, but it was
yeah.
a different Miller. That's what I mean. Like I don't even like these guys. Like
the game tying touchdown.
Yeah,
that-
he
that
looks
dude-
These
like
guys are
Scotty
practice
Miller.
squad guys. You know? We had some big trades this week. You have
Yeah.
Marshawn
Yes.
Lattimore going to the Commanders. I don't know what you
Big
guys
one.
think. You can
Yeah.
tell this is the type of team like they're trying to make a move for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah, oh,
a
yeah.
Super Bowl.
That's the type of
Chips in
player.
there, yeah.
for sure.
There were reports that came out and it was like everyone's coming out saying they want to play for the Commanders if they get traded. Like
Yeah.
that happened before the deadline, and
which
like
never
which
would've
never.
happened 5
Oh
years
yeah, no,
ago.
no.
Oh my
because
god.
Dan Schneider,
Even the
terrible
RG3
owner.
era.
Dan
like-
Quinn's a great coach.
Yeah.
Everybody
Dan
wants to
Quinn.
play for the guy. I mean,
Yeah.
Kingsbury's calling a great offense this year. So
Yeah.
I mean, the
La-
team's
Lattimore.
they're meshing well, in my opinion.
Lattimore definitely helps out that defense, and
Oh, yeah.
it definitely takes them to like. I mean, if they were already like a deep playoff, maybe even Super Bowl threat. Honestly, now this just helps their case even more.
The past
honestly.
3 years, he's third. He has the third most PBUs in the whole NFL. Marshawn Lattimore.
Lattimore.
And his battles with Mike Evans, we will miss those. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
No, yeah.
They had a great go of it, those two.
I
So.
mean, yeah, he's like
They
a
scrap.
four-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
so
he's a great player.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw Zadarius Smith go to the Lions.
I feel like that was a great
Zadarius.
move.
That's a
for
great
them.
move.
Great
Obviously,
move, yeah.
trying to replace Aiden Hutchinson's production is almost impossible,
Yeah.
but that's a huge step. I think that's
Another
like-
team trying to make a Super Bowl run.
Oh, absolutely.
They
Like,
need some
there's
rush.
no team more all in than the Lions.
Yeah.
I truly still think they're the best team in the league, again, with respect to the Chiefs being 8-0.
The Lions,
I think the Lions are
they're
so
dominant.
Complete and so loaded, and I just hope Dan Campbell doesn't do anything too crazy in the playoffs and screw something up if they're in a game against the Niners or something again. But
I was looking up some stats on that trade. So no other line, obviously, other than Hutchinson, has over 2.5 sacks, and Smith has 5 sacks. So it's like you're adding a veteran presence to that defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they make a playoff run, Hutchinson comes back. That's a 1-2 punch.
That's the type of guy you want in the locker room.
That you're going to be terrified of. Like he was Z was a dog in Green Bay, and then he went to Minnesota. And he's a veteran presence that you want in your team,
in the NFC North,
especially in a playoff run.
Yeah. We should give a shout out to Goff too.
Darius Smith, he loves it. Like, he played for the AFC North and the NFC North. That's it. Like, that's it.
Yeah, Goff's been amazing.
King
Cody,
of the North.
He should be like leading the MVP.
So he should be. It's not him right now. It's Josh. It's Josh Allen and Lamar. They're the two favorites. But what's crazy is I was listening to a radio show today, and 2018 was the record for completion percentage in the NFL. It was Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he's even in that conversation with somebody like that of that Drew caliber, Brees, Drew Brees, one of the greats. You know what I mean? He has a 76% pass completion percentage right now. So he's ahead of Brees, who is 75. So if he can continue this, he could break the record, and I don't see why he can't win the MVP if they go 14-3, 15-2 maybe. Their schedule, it's doable.
Yeah,
it's so doable.
I mean, even if they win the division and he has that percentage up and his numbers look good, if they continue that route, even then, they don't have to be for me. I don't think they have to be a 1 or 2 seed for him to get MVP. If it's
they have some tough games coming up. They have to play the Bills. They have to play the Niners. So it is a tough road. But I don't know how you can stop this team. That offense is. They have more touchdowns, that offense, than incompletions the past 5 weeks. That's unbelievable.
That's some Madden stuff right there.
Yeah.
I mean, Goff is definitely overlooked because of his weapons.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you definitely got to appreciate what he's doing. He's a solid quarterback. I know he kind of started his career rough, but he's.
Well, yeah, Jeff Fisher at first.
Do you guys remember the rumors going around? Not rumors, but what everybody was saying about that trade with Stafford and Goff. It was just it was a horrible trade or something. You know what I mean? Just trading one guy for another one. Yeah. I think nobody thought Jared Goff would be a franchise guy.
Yeah, everybody would. Yeah.
And then as he's gotten older, he's just gotten so much better. Yeah. He just he's a great talent.
That's one of the most even trade. I mean, technically, I guess you have to say the Rams.
I guess the Rams won it technically. They won the.
So
they
I guess
did.
You can't argue that, but I mean, it's a very even trade with how it.
Now the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions can do that.
Literally.
Too,
so
yeah.
Anyway.
If that happens, though, is that the best trade in NFL history? Pay out both ways?
Yeah, you don't usually see that.
We can talk about a bad trade. We can talk about this Browns news with the GM saying they're non-committal about Deshaun Watson. What do you guys think about that?
It was a bad contract to begin with. I understand why they did it because initially, we all thought, okay,
Houston made out like a bandit though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Houston. Oh my God. But when that trade first happened, everyone's kind of like, oh. If this is Deshaun Watson that was in Cleveland that we just saw a year ago, the Browns, the Super Bowl contenders, they're nasty. I kind of thought they'd be in that bracket too, but I don't know. Injuries with his conscience, not conscience, his fucking self-esteem.
I think it's more of a mental thing for him.
It's got to be.
You cannot come back from those type of allegations and play and be a professional athlete.
The way he plays, it looks like he has a severe mental block.
Yeah,
it's he doesn't look like the same player. He looks completely.
He probably
different.
Doesn't even sleep at night half the time. I don't even know. How would you?
And he's going back to the masseuse for his. He's about to be there. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the marquee 4 games of the week for us here. We have poll results. Art the Clown took it home.
Art the Clown?
Oh, Art the Clown. Yeah.
It's like a favorite.
So sick, so twisted.
I have a question. If you were to compare Art the Clown
to one player,
you got to give me something.
You said it. I don't know. That's tough. Right? I know you said your player.
Art the Clown's dude's a psycho. He's going
answer.
for blood. I don't know. A guy I'm not gonna lie. I think
George Pickens.
I think of George Pickens.
Oh, that's kind of fact. I like that.
You see him on draft night. He's got the shiesty on. He's got his hands behind his back. He's just looking at the TV. He's got murder on his mind. I'm sorry. And you can see what he does to these DBs. Shout out to Pickens.
Yeah, he's a dog and he's coming alive, and I think he comes even more alive with the potential. With the addition of Mike Williams to the team. The Steelers have had a lot of...
got that X receiver now?
Yeah, Russell Wilson's been good. History of the deep ball.
You better throw it to him, bro, because Michael's a dog.
I mean, here's the thing, though.
One thing I'll say about Wilson is he does throw that ball up to his receivers. He gives them a chance.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I like about him. He'll give him a chance.
He might not look where he's throwing, but he's going to throw it.
Because he can't see, though. He can't see where he's throwing.
No, that's true.
He's got the helmet on. He's 5'5".
He's going to throw it.
But George Pickens, a lot of double teams early, not getting targets, but then you add Russell Wilson to the offense, and you have a lot of small, speedy speedy guys. But now that you have a true outside guy, that's a good history, a great one-on-one like catch dude and deep balls. Mike Williams.
That's one of our marquee 4 games this week. Steelers at Commanders. So let's just dive into that because the Commanders are laying 2.5 points at home. Nate, I know you're feeling pretty good about the Steelers overall. This is a tough matchup on the road. This is off a bye, though, so where are you at right now?
Right, yeah, it is a tough game.
What about one thing? Preston Smith, you guys just added him. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think
he'll be a factor in this game.
Didn't see him coming. Good addition. He's a little bit older now, but like as a number 3 guy behind Highsmith and Watt,
he's going to be a rotational guy.
Even a 4 guy because Herbig is good for us too, second-year player. So I think
it's a good move for you guys.
Our pass rushes just got better. We already allowed to this point in the year. Schedule's getting very much brutal stretch now. But like we're allowing 5 points a game in the second half. You add more to the pass rush.
That's crazy.
Steelers coming off a bye week though in this game. We have number 2 receiver. I think George Pickens gets more one-on-one look. If Lattimore, is he playing this week? Lattimore? Is he still? I know he was hurt.
They haven't announced it. The trade just happened yesterday. So yeah. I mean, I would assume.
Yeah.
I mean, you want him in a big game like this. This is a big game.
Yeah. So I mean, assuming he plays, I mean, George Pickens was cooking Sauce Gardner with no sauce. Yeah. When he was playing, so Lattimore, good corner, but I don't think Pickens. I think Pickens will win some.
I think Pickens makes out the most in that trade. Like the Steelers did make a couple moves,
it kind of frees him up.
Yeah, I hope. Like we're seeing in New York, what's happening with Devontae and Garrett Wilson. Like Garrett Wilson looks great. Everybody thought it would be detrimental to his targets and all this stuff, but like he's getting targets. He's still getting his work.
You can't double cover any one of them.
Yeah,
so.
And he looks great. So
if Mike Williams does his job, I think it's hard to double cover Pickens. So it will be much more chances for him.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this game now, off a bye week, Steelers have a very good history against rookie quarterbacks. Mike Tomlin has
a very good history at like plus 2.5. Those short underdog spreads too. Mike Tomlin's notoriously good in those spots.
Again, it's going to be a scary game, and I think it's going to be a close game. But I'll take the Steelers off the bye. The defense where they're playing against the rookie quarterback, even though he doesn't look like a rookie.
Yeah. Dude, I'm surprised you took the Steelers. Honestly.
Me too. Yeah.
I think for me, like
I can't do it.
I like the addition of Lattimore. Obviously, like I'm assuming he's going to play. They added him for a reason. They want to win games now. They want to win everything now. They want to get that Super Bowl. Dan Quinn's coaching this team well. I think he gets them ready for this game. I think it's going to be a great game, close game. This is why it's one of our marquee matchups, but I think I'm going to just go with the Commanders here. I think they get it done.
What's the number here?
It's like 2.5. I'm also on the Commanders. I like
Commanders here. For me, it's quarterback play, and Russ in a big moment. He's not like that anymore. So.
Yeah. Well, that remains to be seen. We'll see. But also 2 AFC North teams Thursday Night Football primetime game. Bengals at the Ravens. Great game. Rematch from several weeks ago when it was like 41-38, I think, or something like that. Yeah. Their previous matchup earlier in the year where the Ravens won.
Very good game.
This time it's in Baltimore. The Ravens laying 6.5. Tough number. Cody, I know you've been kind of off the Bengals wagon. But it seems like we're all getting back on the Bengals wagon this week at 6.5.
From like a lot of people know, my favorite thing about Joe Burrow is every single year, I don't know what it is, but this guy, when it comes to like September and October football, he's just not at his best. I'm not sure if it takes him a little bit to get acclimated to everything, to the NFL, but like he's one of the best quarterbacks in November, December, January. Like this guy, he's putting up 5 touchdown performances. I think he has a great game Thursday night. I think the Bengals can win this game outright. I know they're plus 6.5, but I'm going to take the points for sure. I know, shout out to Mike Gesicki. We didn't talk about this, but he probably had one of the best games of a tight end this year.
Right.
He had 2 touchdowns. Whenever T. Higgins is out, so as of right now, T. Higgins is doubtful for tomorrow night. Whenever T. Higgins is out, you got to start Gesicki in all your lineups. Doesn't matter if it's an 8-man league, 10-man league, start the guy. He just looks great when Higgins is out.
I've been noticing, and just from like news reporters too, they're saying how they're playing him like a receiver.
Yeah,
like
he's in the slot.
He's running like wide receiver.
Yeah,
like
Eric All just got hurt too. Their rookie tight end just tore his ACL this week, so like that might be more of a target share for Gesicki. You know what I mean? So I like the Bengals.
Yeah, I think we all like the Bengals in this spot. I think another game that we all like the same team is the Lions at the Texans. Lions minus 3.5. They've been an absolute wagon. Zach, I think you've been.
I'm just gonna keep going Lions. I mean, like everything's Lions right now. Like Goff is stepping up. Like
it all comes down to Goff.
Yeah, I mean they got the weapons to do it. Goff's been doing it. Campbell leads this team like the 300. You can reference back to a couple weeks ago.
Great coach.
But I cannot get off the Lions right now. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean Nico Collins back does make it a little more scary, but I'm still on the Lions. This is gonna be like the jungle. It's gonna be you have the lion and you have the bull, and the lion's gonna just grab the bull and just break its neck.
Sonic and Knuckles, dude. That's a sick nickname for running backs.
Bulls are in the jungle.
Buffalo. I mean, it's a Texan. Whatever,
okay.
Whatever a Texan is.
Okay, all right.
Whatever.
I think
Just
this offense in Detroit is just too efficient. Like, too many superstars on this team. I know nobody's been talking about. I know you like Laporta. Like, we don't talk about him enough. Like,
right.
even though he hasn't been like his usage isn't up as much. Like, he's still a phenomenal player. Jamison Williams is reinstated off the suspension this week.
Mm-hmm. He's back now.
He's a guy that's back. He's gonna make a big impact. Shout out, he's an idiot. He's a little bit of an idiot. I saw the video. There was like a gun in his car.
He's a literal idiot. Yeah. He's back. It's all good. It's all good. It's chill.
But Lions are great. I love the Lions this week. I think you do too. We had a storm on this game.
There's another storm.
Yeah.
So two marquee. Actually, make it three games of the 4 marquee matchups this week because Dolphins-Rams, we go to L.A., SoFi Stadium.
Prime time.
I think we're at Monday Night Football, all on the Rams laying a short 1.5 number. This game caught my eye a lot. I think it might be a fun game. I was thinking about betting the over in this game. It's currently get you live odds here. It's at 50.5, so pretty high total. But I think I'm going to hammer the over. I think there's going to be points galore in this game.
I like it.
Over obviously what, 44? Is it?
No, 50.5.
50.5.
44.5. I might have to put a mortgage on now.
Yeah, maybe.
50.5, though, I still am leaning over. I really, 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 really like it. Obviously, Tua is back. Their offense will be able to move. Puka and Kupp are back. Like, the weapons are all there. The defenses are whatever. So I think it's a great spot for over 50.5. That I think it could move even higher.
What do you guys think's going on with Jalen Waddle this year? I saw a stat in 4 full games with Tua. He has 17 targets.
Yeah.
Devin Achane has 28. So like he's almost doubling. A running back is almost doubling Waddle's like targets. Yeah, and Waddle's a guy who is going in your 3rd and 4th round of fantasy drafts. I just don't understand.
I think a team like the Dolphins. It's hard with a team like the Dolphins because they have so much talent and so many weapons. And McDaniel's a unique coach who I think how he operates. Obviously, you have Devon Achane. Obviously, you have Tyreek Hill.
Even Tyreek, though, where's he?
That's true. That's true. It's been a lot of like the more fringe guys. But I don't know. They're off. I think it's also this year's been very weird for the Dolphins. I don't know. I feel like in the back half, I'm not saying they're going to make like a push. I don't think their schedule's that favorable anyway. I just think that we'll see a little bit more of the definitely Tyreek. Waddle's been weird. I don't know. I don't have as much faith.
I'm going to say my piece. I've been listening to a lot of people on social media, and it actually does make a lot of sense. I really think a lot of these, like, there's great coaches. This is the NFL. It's professional stuff. Like, these coaches are starting to figure out this Miami offense. They're very one-dimensional. Tua, they know like he's not going to be scrambling as much with the concussions. They figured this team out, and you can tell. Why is Tyreek? He's saying, "Oh, start me in fantasy." This guy's going out there and he's getting 5, 6, 7 targets, and he's only getting 3, 4 catches. Like, it's just not efficient. And what they're doing is they're dumbing down this offense. Mike McDaniel's trying his best. I think he's still a great coach. He's trying to dumb down the offense for Tua. Get the ball out of his hands quick. Why do you think Achane's getting 8, 9, 10 targets, 8, 9, 10 catches?
Yeah, a bunch of quick.
They're dumbing down the offense.
I mean, I think there's a lot of worry for Tua. It's just not the same offense.
No, it's not.
He shouldn't even be playing football, and I really think
he's still diving head
first
first for 3rd downs, right?
He is.
I think they're nursing it. But yeah, like he's got to dump down the ball. Like he doesn't really.
The ball's coming out
quick. Can't
quick.
stay in the pocket because he's gonna get hit. It's just like I don't know. It's not the
as
same
a receiver. How do you get
Dolphins.
open though? Like you have to think like what's going through these guys' heads right now. These guys are superstars. Waddle went to Alabama. Played with Jalen Hurts, played with Mac Jones, like won national championships. This isn't what he wants.
Fastest receivers in the league.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it doesn't look like it has in years past. Like teams are figuring this out. Yeah, he's getting the ball out of his hands quick. So I don't know what you guys think. But
I mean, with all that being said on the table now, like in the offseason, does Tyreek ask for a trade? I mean
he's 30.
He just signed that contract. He's getting old. Like I don't even know where he could go. Like what team would want to pick up that contract
for him? Yeah, I don't know.
If the Chiefs want to pay him, they didn't want to pay him previously though. That was 2 years ago.
Why you'd want to pay him now?
Yeah, why would you want to pay him 2 years older?
He won Super Bowl without him.
Yeah,
that's true.
Knowing the Chiefs, I can guarantee they would not pick up his contract because they would not pay him what he wanted when he was 28.
Yeah. I mean, that would just look bad for the Chiefs.
I mean, they're also getting Hopkins for like chump change, and he's over there looking.
They're paying Hopkins chump change, right?
He's an 8-0 team right now without anything.
I don't think Tyreek Hill's on their mind.
Yeah, I don't.
And guess who's coming back next year? Like Rashi. A guy who looked like a wide receiver one this year.
Yeah. All right, we want to move into locks of the week. Last week, again, I've already mentioned my 3-game losing streak in locks.
Happens, man.
Yeah, it happens. Nate is 7-2 in locks. Zach 5-4. Cody, I'm 4-4-1, and Cody 4-5 all time. I say it every week. We're still looking pretty good. 17-10 for Nate and Cody. I'm 18-8-1, and then Zach 15-11-1. Still well over 500 by 4 games. This week, I want to start here, Zach. Your pick's interesting. You like the Bills?
I wouldn't say it's interesting. I feel like it's an obvious lock.
It's a little. It's almost trappy. I feel like
it could be trappy. They're just coming off a gritty, grimy, gross win, so I could see that. But yeah, I just feel like it's all Bills here. The Colts are not. They're not a great team. Flacco didn't really look too great against the Vikings.
Horrible.
The Vikings looked like to in that game. So, I mean, I think the Bills kind of roll them here, and Josh Allen just continues to be Josh Allen.
Yeah, my lock of the week is Jets over the Cardinals. 7-2. I'm on a roll.
I like it.
I think the Jets are now getting into a groove, and they're going to start rolling now. Yeah,
I love that.
We saw it last week. The Jets and Tay and Garrett Wilson and Rodgers and Brees, they're all looking like they were clicking, scoring in crucial situations, getting the ball down the field. That being said, they have a very, regretfully say this, because I still think the Jets
schedule coming up.
Soft schedule coming up. And if Jets get rolling, they can still be a threat and be a wild card team. I think they can still come back.
I think they go Cardinals, Seahawks, Bears, right? Or
Bears.
Colts. You know what I mean? By week 12 is their bye, so they could be 500.
If
and maybe
you have
playoffs.
Marvin Harrison in fantasy, I would sit him.
No, that was my sit.
But yeah,
really?
but I love the Jets.
Also my sit.
You love the Jets?
Yo.
I guess you should definitely sit him.
Marvin, yeah.
Marv, playoff.
And then my start is Aaron Rodgers.
My lock's going to be the Eagles -7. I think it's -7
Yeah,
right? Against
that was
Dallas.
my
My own
sit.
Dallas Cowboys.
That was my
The
sit.
team is very injury riddled. I think the Eagles get this done very easily. Hopefully Sirianni doesn't do what he just did against the Jaguars, though. Hopefully it's a well-coached game. If it's a well-coached game, I don't see how they don't cover this number. So
I'm turning to the Rams because I mentioned that I almost I was going to switch my
I like the Rams.
We haven't done a lock total in a long time. You did it once last year.
The what?
A lock total. You did an
Oh,
yeah.
I'm just gonna do the Rams -1.5. I really like the Rams in the spot. I think it'll be a high scoring game, but I don't know. I trust Stafford. I like what I see out of
Miami
the
might be 2-7
Yeah,
after this game.
Yeah.
Brutal.
All right, next up, fantasy outlook here. Start, sit. I'll open up because I feel strongly, and Zach already kind of yoinked my pick. We're both on the sit side of this. Is Marvin
this
Harrison
is easy, or you got to find
Jr.
somebody
Very
to replace
simple.
him.
He hasn't done anything. I mean, that's not true. He had a couple big weeks. I know you dished him off to Nate. Do you want to talk about that trade? That was a good trade.
Yeah.
That was a good
What
trade.
That trade again, like DK and the most
DK,
unreliable receivers in fantasy.
DK,
for,
Marvin
Brees
Harrison, and Brees
and Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp,
Yeah, that was definitely unfair. But
I mean, since that trade,
Cooper Kupp was hurt, right?
But since that trade happened, though, I put up 200.
I'm still 2-7 in the league, so I'm fighting to not get last. So I don't know.
I'll move my start to this is again a bigger name, but George Pickens. I think he has a favorable matchup. I think that's Washington's secondary has been one of the weaker parts of the secondary. Now I know they just upgraded, obviously, but I still like George Pickens in this spot. So and I know you said your start.
My start is Aaron Rodgers. The Jets are heating up. Garrett Wilson's looking great. Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. The Cards, they allow a lot of pass yards a game, top 10 in the league. I love Aaron Rodgers here. If you're debating it, just do it. Just do it. Start him.
Start the old man.
Start the old man.
My fantasy start of the week is Tyrone Tracy. I think he's a very good play against a suspect Carolina's defense. I think he'll rip him, but he'll get 20 carries. He'll probably have 120 yards, a touchdown or two.
Or 3.
Yeah.
And who knows, he could even catch 4 or 5 balls in the meantime in that game as well. So
you got to sit for this week, too?
Yeah, my sit for this week, I'm going to be sitting Mark Andrews against the...
Likely's out,
week,
too.
Bro.
Likely's out.
No. I think this offense is going to go more around, you have Deontay Johnson playing, you got Derrick Henry, you have Justice Hill.
Move from the bench to the
He's
bench.
ass.
But yeah, no, I think Baltimore right now, Cincinnati's defense is a favorable matchup, but I just think Lamar uses the receivers a lot more. Andrews may block a little more than normally, even though Likely is out. But yeah, he's probably their 6th target right now in pecking order right now. So I don't like him for the week.
I'm going to be sitting. This is a little crazy, but DeAndre Hopkins this week against Pat Surtain.
Off a high.
Yeah,
I think
I don't hate it.
I think the Broncos, man, they're going to have a game plan surrounding D-Hop after the game he just had. They're going to make sure that he doesn't have too big of a game because he could wreck the game if he does. So.
Yeah.
And Surtain does great against number 1 receivers. He always has. For a start, I'm going to go with none other than the man coming off his hamstring injury. If he's finally back. Devonta Smith is out potentially with the hamstring, so I'm going to be taking Dallas Goedert to have a big week now that he's back into that offense.
I might have to start.
We'll see if Devonta Smith doesn't end up playing, but even if Devonta Smith does play, I still love Goedert this week. So that's my start.
That's good information.
Quickly take a look here at our picks for this week. As we just went over the locks there in blue. A lot of storms this week. We got the Bengals we're all on. We're all on the Lions, we're on the Eagles, we're all on the Rams, so we got a lot of storms. We got a few interesting lone wolves. Cody is laying the big number with the Chiefs over the Broncos at 8.5. He's also lone wolfing the Jaguars plus 4.5 at home against the Vikings. Nate is lone wolfing both the Panthers and Munich at 6.5, and the Bears at 6.5. Any final thoughts as we go into week number 10? Can't believe we're at double digits already.
Just really excited. I can't believe we're already halfway through the season,
Yeah, no, the halfway point is actually crazy.
Get Michael Thomas on the Saints.
Michael Thomas, if you're listening, if you want to come on the show.
Get him back.
Love
on
to
the
have
Saints.
some guests on the show. If anybody would like to come on, send an email.
I would go to heaven if Xavier Legette came on the show.
Xavier Legette.
We're gonna throw the email right up here. So if you guys want to come on, just email cover4pod@gmail.com.
Love talking ball,
all
man.
business inquiries. Xavier Legette.
Yes, sir.
I think
we can talk about asparagus.
Yeah, come on, Xavier. All right, we will see you a week from now. Enjoy the week.